What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be installing a carbon fiber steering wheel on my C5 Corvette right here. Now this steering wheel is from a company called Tesfil, so huge shout out to them for sending me one of these over for the C5. I really appreciate it, and I will leave the link to this product in the description below. Before we get to the install, I want y'all to get an up close look at how awesome this steering wheel looks though. We have carbon fiber all over it, really nice red stitching, a nice little red mark at the top. And my favorite part, we have a flat bottom on the steering wheel itself, because I don't know about y'all, but if you own a C5, you know how big these steering wheels are. And oftentimes I find myself hitting the bottom with my knee. So hopefully the flat bottom on this one will help eliminate that problem. Now, first things first, guys, since we are going to be messing around with the airbag, we need to pop the hood and disconnect the battery. As you can see, I have my positive cable disconnected and just kind of wedged a rag in between them to make sure that it does not contact the battery whatsoever. Now we're going to have to wait like 10 to 15 minutes for all the capacitors inside the car to discharge, and then we'll get right into the install, tearing apart the factory steering wheel. Also, holding these two steering wheels up next to each other, you can definitely tell that the aftermarket one is quite a bit thicker than the factory one. Now that it's been a little bit, we can work on getting the airbag off of the steering wheel. Now they have two little holes, one right there, and then one on the other side of the wheel that we're gonna have to remove a little T30 screw from. If we turn it, we can probably access the holes a little bit easier from the top and the bottom right there. So taking a T30, we're just gonna get on up inside there. Would definitely be a little bit easier if I didn't have such a long ratchet. Or if I can move the seat back. But you know, we've already disconnected the power, so I'm kind of stuck doing this. Give me the screw. First one's done. Time for the second one. All right, I believe both of the screws are loose. They're still up in there. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get them out, but this should just kind of plop down just like this. All right, now we gotta work on getting these wires disconnected from the airbag itself so we can get this full piece off. All right, so let's check it out. Looks like we have a little piece right here that we need to pop up. Now after we pull this piece up right here, this should just kind of pop out just like that. Easy enough. And then this one looks like it just kind of slides off. Easy enough. The factory airbag is completely out of the vehicle. We're just gonna place this over here. Technically it's still in the vehicle, but it's just, anyways. Oh, it looks like our little screws in here. Oh no, they can come out. Okay, we're gonna take those out. Dude, those look kind of complicated. Look at that. Check it out. That's the screws to hold in the airbag. Kind of weird. All right, now we have access to the actual steering wheel nut right there. So we need to zip that off real quick. Easy peasy. Now this is the part that most people are probably afraid of, and that's actually pulling the steering wheel off of the splines. Obviously, these wheels have been on the car for 20 plus years, so there's probably some rust and whatnot on those splines, and it's not gonna be very easy to get the wheel off in most cases. I do have multiple pullers. I have one 3-jaw puller and a 2-prong puller that we're gonna try, and hopefully this wheel comes off pretty easy. Fingers crossed, guys. So I think I got it set up right. We're gonna find out really soon though. Let's start trying to take it off. Is that bending? Woo! I think we got it. So I did put the nut back on the splines just so that the steering wheel wouldn't just come flying off of my face. Worst case scenario. Oh yeah, it feels like it's loose now. Look at that. Whole thing just came off. We're almost ready to put this bad boy in. We do have to swap over a few things, like these little plastic grommets or whatever they are. We just gotta shove them up into our new steering wheel. There's like 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. We are also going to be swapping over something else from the factory wheel, which is this little plastic piece. And it should just kind of, just like that, snap on. Now with any luck, this thing is just gonna slide right on in. Don't forget to put your little yellow, oh, this is a little difficult to do with just one hand, little yellow wire through that bottom piece. Oh, okay. And bam. It does have a little flat spots that act as kind of keyways on the splines, so you really shouldn't be able to misalign this thing. Now we're just gonna take our nut and thread it back on here. And time to send her home. All right, so we have our nut tightened, our steering wheel seated properly. We have these little pieces on right here, and now we are ready to put our airbag back onto the wheel. All right, so I just tightened up the airbag screws, so we are all good to go. And this is what the finished product looks like, guys. Fully installed, and man, is it beautiful. So yeah, guys, pretty easy install. The fit was great. It installed perfectly fine after we got off the factory steering wheel, which is, of course, the hardest part. Just getting off the factory piece right here. This thing just has to be difficult because, you know, it sat on the car for 20 years. But other than that, super straightforward install. Really doesn't take that much time at all. Just got to get the right tools and you can have a really nice steering wheel. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the steering wheel and if you're going to be buying one for your C5 Corvette. Like I said before, I'm going to leave the product linked in the description below so y'all can pick one out if you want. I think they're around $350, so definitely a steal for something that looks this good and 100% changes the interior of the car for the better. Well, there you have it, guys. Carbon fiber steering wheel on the C5 Corvette is officially complete. And in my opinion, this thing is 100% worth the money. For $350, you actually kind of take the boring interior of the C5 and spice it up a little bit. It looks pretty high quality, fit great. I'm pretty happy. And now we're going to end the video off with a little bit of cam chopping C5, if you know what I'm saying. Woo!